My name is Janelle Drake, and this is my essay titled A Breakthrough That Keeps Giving. Since I was around 10, I had feelings of gender dysphoria. Because this was the early 2000s, information about the transgender community wasn't widely available, so I didn't have strong phrases I could point to and say, "This is me." All I knew is that I wanted to dress and be more like the girls around me, and this would largely be considered taboo at the time. My teens were incredibly isolating. I wanted to tell people how I was feeling, but I was afraid of being misunderstood, labeled a freak, or possibly getting kicked out of my house. Growing up in the Boy Scouts of America program, I was especially concerned about being forced out of a program that I loved, because it provided me numerous opportunities that I would otherwise not have. With all of this going on, I kept silent, and the dysphoria grew stronger. There were ways I could hold it off for a bit, like browsing through the women's clothing department at stores, but not buying anything. But this only lasted so long. My first round of college made things a little better for me. Having space from my family and a personal computer that others couldn't see the search history on, I found forums and social media platforms where I could talk to other people like me and started to realize I was not alone. I was also able to buy some items like nail polish that I could wear discreetly every day. These items helped to feel more comfortable with myself to the point where I told my girlfriend about myself in my senior year, and she was wonderfully supportive for the rest of our time together. She helped me to see that maybe there wasn't anything wrong with who I was. I left college identifying as a crossdresser, then gradually shifted to identifying as gender fluid. When I moved out of my home to my first apartment, I finally had the space to buy some clothes for myself without being caught and started experimenting with style. I was presenting as male at work and female in private, and this freedom felt great, and I thought I could go on this way forever, until I hit my major breakthrough one night near the end of 2017. A previous job, I was on the activities committee. We ran multiple events each year, one of which was an annual holiday party for the children of the employees. For this event, we needed someone to act as Santa Claus for the night, and I eagerly volunteered. As I was getting dressed for the role, I looked into the mirror and realized everything I saw there was wrong. It suddenly struck me that I didn't want to grow up to be an old man, and I realized in the moment that I needed to fully transition to womanhood to feel happier and more fulfilled in life. Trying to act cool, calm, and collected for a room full of children, while internally having a minor mental crisis, was no small feat, but I made it through the night well enough. After the party, I was still a few more months before I started taking any action toward medically transitioning or seeking a therapist. But because I had finally realized who I fully was, I started presenting as female a bit more in public and meeting some great folks along the way. Coming out to myself as a transgender woman and later everyone else around me has put me on a trajectory that I am so thankful for and proud of. At the time I was starting transition, the New Hampshire branch of the American Civil Liberties Union had a group of employees called the Trans Justice Team. I attended some workshops they ran on different aspects of transitioning and advocating for policy changes at the State House, and I hit it off with some of the organizers. I started volunteering with them and getting involved at more Trans Justice Team events, and started to build a small supportive community of like-minded people. At the end of these events, we had a day-long brainstorming session of things that were affecting the trans community of New Hampshire to see if there were ways that the ACLU could help. One of these ideas was to help the public be more welcoming to members of the trans and non-binary community, because a lot of us were getting tired of getting misgendered all the time. This was not a project the ACLU wanted to take on, so I and a few of the other meetings attendees kept in touch to discuss this idea more. With little experience, we ended up forming our own nonprofit organization to solve this problem of inclusivity. From the ground up, we built the structure of the organization, what our goals and methods would be, and developed all of our branding and content. Since we officially launched 2.5 years ago, we've trained about 70 businesses and organizations on gender-affirming practices, such as not assuming pronouns when meeting someone for the first time, using gender-neutral language in speech and paper documents, and how products and restrooms can be labeled. We also provide a database of these trained businesses that members of the trans community can use to find places where they know they'll feel welcome and affirmed in their gender. By my estimations, we've directly impacted about 300 to 500 people just through our trainings, and countless others who use our database. The organization is always growing our network of trained businesses and followers, which is something I keep at the forefront of my thoughts in my daily life. The continuous growth we've been experiencing had me concerned for the future of the organization. Many of the founding members dropped away due to health reasons, family issues, and other things beyond their control, which left two of us running all aspects of the organization for a while. My gut was telling me that if we continued at this pace, we would probably become unsustainable in a year or two. I don't want to see this happen because we've worked so hard to build everything up, so I started thinking of ways that I could resolve this. A possible answer came to me when I was attending a conference for women in 2023. As I was passing by a table with a representative of a school, I stopped for a few minutes just to have a friendly conversation. As we were talking, I noticed a flyer on the table advertising a nonprofit management degree program, and I picked it up to look at later. After much thought, I decided to enroll in the program to go for a second bachelor's degree, and this is how I became a student of the American Women's College and Bay Path University. I'm hoping I can use what I will learn to improve the organization I founded, but I know the information will be useful within the other organizations I volunteer with as well. I like the challenge of learning again, but it could also potentially help me to move my career away from the engineering role I currently occupy, if that's something I decide I want to explore at some point. After slow changes over many years, a sudden realization about my gender identity set in place a line of dominoes that continue to topple in extraordinary ways. The breakthrough helped me bring me to a community of incredible people that I would not have met otherwise. Together, we've built valuable resources for our community, and I've become a leader in the organization I helped to form. By living as my true self, I have access to events that I wouldn't have been able to attend before, which led me to an opportunity for personal and professional growth. I'm glad I looked in that mirror and finally saw myself that fateful December night, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what other gifts will come from my transition in time. Thank you.